Hello everyone, welcome to another live Q&A. Let's wait for some time and let other people join and then we can start. But if you have already joined, as always, feel free to post your questions in the chat. I will take those questions. It's a nice, bright, sunny day today, which is good because I'm planning to go to grocery shopping. So it's always good to see a sunny day so that it'll be a nice walk as well and some vitamin D. Dipanshu, Deepak, how are you? Hey Arya, yeah, I'm doing good. I hope same as for you. I am doing MSc Data Science now at the University of York. I was wondering when I should start applying jobs. Um, well, ideally you should start applying for a job once you finish your um, first semester. And if you are applying for, well, that's the time when you can start applying for graduate role because usually you get joining in around September, October time, or maybe around May time, something like that. And there are some starting in January as well, or maybe February. So something like that. So I think it's better to start applying for graduate role once you finish your first semester, and once you start your dissertation, I think that's the right time to start applying for other full-time roles because usually they ask you to join immediately. So you will have 2 to 3 months to look for a job, crack the interview, and maybe get the whole paperwork done. So as soon as you finish your masters, you can start working for a particular company. So yeah, those are the key times when you can start applying for different jobs. Hey Ashutosh, how are you? Here in Colchester is also sunny. That's good to know. Yeah, I think tomorrow is also going to be good, but then looking at the weather forecast, seems like on Monday it's again gonna rain. But then, yeah, weekends are sunny, so it's always good to maybe just go out and get some sunlight. Hey Abhay, I'm doing good. How are you? Everybody telling about recession. Your thought about it on job market? Yeah, job market is not really that great, and yes, it is a recession time. Lot of layoff and stuff. But I think maybe by the end of this year or starting next year, things should be bit better. I think I talked about this in last live Q&A, or maybe last to last live Q&A. I don't remember exactly, but I think I've talked about it. Or maybe I was just talking to one of my friends, I guess, or colleagues. So, and I think it's a valid point. So the thing is, a lot of bigger economies, they are about to go in elections, and when there are elections very close by, you don't know which party is going to win, which will be the ruling governing body, and what kind of rules, policies, reforms they will bring. So there are a lot of uncertainties, so because of which businesses usually hold on to what they have, or maybe say they sometimes even try to cut off their expenses. So that's why maybe there won't be a lot of hirings um in this year. But moving forward, hopefully things will become much more stable, and companies will start to hire again if other factors or external factors favor in economic boost. So there are a lot of different factors, but I personally think maybe by the end of this year or next year things should start to look good. But again, it's just speculation, and I cannot say for certain. Things can be bad even next year as well. So yeah, it's just my opinion. um, but yeah, before you make any decisions, it's better to look out for other factors, and maybe research more in the job market. I got conditional offer letter from Hertfordshire University. Congrats, Abhay. You're welcome, Arya. September 24 intake. Yeah, that's good. I don't know what's the condition in on your offer. Usually, it's just paying the initial deposit, I think, or maybe IELTS if you have not taken it already. So I hope you will be able to fulfill the conditions, and you'll be able to start your September 24 intake. Yeah, Abhay. So the answer you already got, right? That's just my opinion. It is getting a bit hotter here, so I'm gonna open the window. If it becomes too noisy, do let me know, because there is a pretty well, there is a bridge, Tyne Bridge, which is always quite rushed, and a lot of cars usually mm, go from that road, so it's usually a bit noisy. So do let me know if my audio is still clear, or if you are hearing a lot of noise in the background. I will close the window. Do you have any course content of applied AI? No, I don't have any. I have done masters in data science. I have masters. I have. I'm doing masters in data, and I am going to apply for jobs in data analyst. By now, I have done with. I'm done with Power BI, Excel, SQL, Stats. Starting with AWS, what are things need to learn now to get into job market? You have covered quite a lot of ground already, which is good, especially for data analyst position. And now that you're starting AWS, I think that is a really good step forward, because I think I've talked about this in almost all my live Q&As. A lot of companies, they do all their data science stuff on a cloud platform. So if you learn AWS, I think that will put you in a really good spot in the job market, because what I've seen is a lot of people, when they start doing data science, and when they do these master's courses or any courses, there they don't usually talk about these cloud platforms. So it's always good to learn these, and I think you're on a right track. So for now, I would say, yeah, learn AWS. That's good. Maybe after that, you can also learn about GitHub. So that will help you. I made a video. It's more about data science, but if you exclude machine learning, deep learning part from that video, the whole tech stack can be valid for data analyst roles as well. Hi Rupa, I'm doing good. How are you? Just before this live Q&A, I was looking at the YouTube analytics page, and I saw we are about to reach 9K subscribers, which is great. We are just 7 subscribers away, I think. Yeah. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It will mean a lot. So yeah, we are just 7 subscribers away from 9K subscribers. I'm doing good too. How's the weather in Newcastle? Today it's really good. It's a really sunny day, but still it's cold. Um, but inside, of course, when you close the window, you have heater on, and yeah, inside it's fine. But outside it is still cold. But when it's sunny outside and also cold, it feels really good. So yeah, I'm planning to go for grocery shopping right after this live Q&A, so it will be good. Can you give some suggestion about creating an ATS friendly, resume? Are there any templates available just for reference purpose? I think it's important to keep your CV simple and single column CV, because different CV format, like using different colors, different font, making it more creative, yeah, it looks good. But in my personal opinion, what I have seen is they are not very um, ATS friendly. So I would suggest keeping it single column, and try to make it in either Word, or try to make it using what do you call it? It's a markdown language. I'm forgetting that. But yeah, if any one of you here know what's that called, I'll try to Google it and I'll let you know. But yeah, I would say use Microsoft Word. It's good, and lot of ATS systems, they are designed around Microsoft Word. So try to keep it simple. Try to use normal fonts, and try to use maximum of 2 colors, maybe black and black for general content, and any color of your choice for the headings. So yeah, that's what I can suggest. And reusing keywords again and again may not help that much if it is being mentioned in skills section, and then you have 5 different projects, and in all those 5 different projects you're using Python, machine learning, it may not help that much. And the other important point is try to use some numerical values in your report, in your resume, because it's important to show the impact that your project had, and when you can quantify it, it actually looks good. So try to use those numerical values if you can. So these are some of the suggestions. What about job opportunity after the completion of MSc Data Science and AI with the right skill set? Um, there are jobs, yes, but then the competition is also quite high. And with the right skill set, you should be able to find a job. That is for sure. And with right attitude. So yeah, with those, I think you should be able to find a job. Another very important thing is there are so many jobs in the market, but most of the jobs they get filled by connections. So it's important that you make good connections. There have been a lot of people who struggle to find a job using normal method, but then by building good connections they were able to get a job. And I think sometimes it becomes easier to crack those interviews when you have good connection. So I would say, yeah, making good connection is very important. I think I should make a video how to make good connection, because I think this is very important. I don't think I have a video, but I have talked about it a lot of times on my in my live Q&As. So yeah, I will make a video on that, so that you know how to make good connection, because sending a simple connection request on LinkedIn sounds pretty easy, and then you feel like I'm making connections but still I'm not able to find a job. So that's not the right way to make connection. There are a lot of I would say a lot of emotional connection that you need to build. I mean, if you think about it, if your friend reaches out to you and he asks, can you refer me for this role, you will most likely do that. But then if a stranger comes to you and be like, can you please refer me for this role, you may or may not do it, right? So there's always a 50-50% chance. So it's always good to make that connection on human level, and not just like robotic. Send in the connection and then reach out to them and be like, can you please refer me for this role in your company? They may or may not do it. So yeah, I will make a video how to make good connections on LinkedIn or any other platform. So that should help you. Is machine learning important for data analyst and emerging and data analyst and engineering now? Sorry, I need to increase the brightness, I suppose. Oh, it's at full. Well, if it's, what are the concept needs to know? For data analyst role, machine learning is not the most critical concept that you need to know. But yes, of course, if you want to move to data science at later stage, then it will become very important. And if you want to know what are the important concepts in machine learning, I'm not going to say maths and stat, because that is something which you need to know before machine learning. But in machine learning, you need to know supervised learning, unsupervised learning. That is must know. So you need to know them properly. In supervised, you need to understand different type of algorithms like linear algorithm, distance based algorithm, or tree based algorithm. You need to know them. And then even in those sections, you will have different type of machine learning algorithms. So you need to understand when to use which one, and how to use them, and why they are good choice over the other options. So you need to understand about all the limitations and benefits of those machine learning concepts. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So once you are very much familiar with, or once you are really good with your machine learning concepts, then I think you can jump onto deep learning, and after that you can jump onto generative AI. So yeah, those are the concepts that you need to know. Woohoo, close to another milestone. Yep. Hey Roshan, what do you think, is the job market improving or worsening in the UK? I won't say it's improving or it is worsening. It is kind of a stagnant. Uh, but then the number of jobs, I mean, what I do is I go on ONS, Office of National Statistic, and there I look for number of jobs posted each month just to get the sentiment of the job market. And there I saw from past 19 months it has been falling. It still fell in February, but then it did not fall that drastically. So I think the market is stabilizing. It is not improving, it is not worsening, but it is kind of stagnant. So yeah, that's the current job market. Doing good, Ayush. How are you? How's your course going? Doing pretty good as well, thanks. That's good to know. Just been busy with the uni and self study. Yeah, sometimes can get really, really busy in uni. So, but it's good to know it's going well. Thanks, I need to tell I have been watching your videos for recent time, and it's my first live chat session. Thanks for the help by making good content about data. Thanks, keep going. I'm glad you found the content helpful, Deepak, and I'm always happy to help. I'm gonna make a data visualization project for my portfolio today. That's great. What tools are you going to use for your data visualization project, Ayush? Hi Roshan, I have an experience of 3 years in SAP data analytics field, and I do got my offer from Newcastle University. Can you guide me related to job factor in the UK after the course, and also is it manageable to do a part-time job during the course? So I'll answer the second question first. Yes, it is manageable because you have some data analytics experience and you have used SAP in the past. I'm not sure how comfortable you are with programming. Uh, well, I don't have much experience with SAP, so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, if you are comfortable programming like Python or R, because in Newcastle University they use R in the beginning, and then when you move on to machine learning module, they start to use Python. So you will use both the programming languages, which is good. It's good to know both the languages. And I think in the UK, mostly in government field, so in government field they have a lot of R related jobs, so that will prepare you for those jobs as well, which is good. So if you are comfortable with programming, I think you should be able to manage your part-time job as well as as well as the course. How is job market? Yes, you have 3 years of experience, which is good. It always helps. And job market is not in its best condition, but then there are a lot of jobs, and with right connections and uh, right approach, I think you should be able to find a job. And that's what I was talking about earlier in this live session, that these days I think getting a job with traditional methodology is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it just becomes really hard to get job that way. So making good connections are very important. So yeah. Hey Roshan, can you make a video on UK resume format and what should be done differently than an Indian resume format? I think I already have a video about resume. I think I took my resume as an example. It's been a while, but when I was looking for job, when I was applying for job, that resume worked well. I was able to get calls and eventually was able to find a job. So I think I already have a video. I'll go and watch that video again and see if there is something I need to update, and if there is an update needed, I will make an updated video. Hi Roshan, come to Liverpool or Manchester sometime. I don't know when I will be able to come to Newcastle. Yeah, sure. I will try to make a trip there. It would be fun. Yeah. I will let you know if there is something which I'm planning. Just to let you know, guys, I may be going to uh, an event which has been organized by Teesside University. I think it is on 28th of March or 27th of March, something like that. It is on generative AI. So if any one of you who is interested, uh, you can come there if it is possible for you. I will try to find a link and I will paste it in the chat in case anyone's interested. Oh, seems like it's sold out. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it is sold out. But yeah, if I'm going to another meetup, there is another in July in London, I think. I'll see if I can make it. Uh, but I'll let you know in the community section if I'm going. I will be just using Tableau in this one. Oh, that's good. That's good, yeah. And if you can publish it and then share it in your resume, the link of the dashboard, that would be really impactful. You're welcome, Niharika. I will start my university this September. Is buying a tablet for note taking worth it? I have heard stationery is quite costly. Yeah, you can take, because on tablet you can do quite a lot of things, not just note taking. So you can watch lectures, and it's quite portable. You can take it wherever you want. So yeah, I would say I have a tablet and I'm doing this live Q&A on my tablet, and I find it really useful. So yeah, uh, you can buy a tablet. I think we have a hacker in the chat. Where is this event happening? Teesside University. So that's where it is happening, but it seems like it is sold out. I will still paste the link in case you are able to book a slot. This is the link. How to become hacker, right? I am no hacker. I have never done hacking. Well, I was interested in hacking at some point. I well, I exactly don't remember those resources, because I had collected a lot of resources to learn hacking. Well, it was even before I knew programming. So yeah, I think it's been more than 10 years now. I think the key to become a hacker is to understand how things work. And if you're able to understand properly how things work, you will be able to find a loophole. And if you're able to find a loophole, it's relatively easy to penetrate that loophole. And that was something something I have was able to learn, and I still remember. So yeah, you don't have to send the same thing so many times, because is it in Darlington? Yes, it is in Darlington. I'm gonna block this guy if I can. Oh, I can only remove one by one. Hide user from this channel. Yeah, it's all gone now. Hopefully he won't be able to irritate here. I'll go back if I have missed anything, so sorry for that. How do you mean by publishing it? Do you mean hosting it somewhere? If yes, lot of these visualize. I am more into Power BI and I've used Power BI a lot. So you can usually publish these reports to their hosting platform. So if you explore a bit more about tabular, if you search for publish a tab, how to publish a Tableau dashboard, I think you should be able to find a lot of content there. In Power BI, there is a publish button. You just need to click on publish, and then you need to select which workspace you want to publish it to, and that's all. It's pretty easy. So I would assume it will be same for Tableau as well. So yeah, try to look for it. Is it in Darlington? Yes, I answered that. Can you suggest me some job portals we can apply for data science job? I don't know any specific portal for data analytics roles or data science related roles. but most of the times I think LinkedIn does a really good job. So a lot of companies they prefer to post their jobs on LinkedIn, so that's a good platform. And in the UK there are some other websites like CV Library, Target Jobs, Total Jobs. Um yeah, so those are some of the popular websites which you can use. There are other websites like Indeed. So these are the popular ones, and usually employers publish their openings on these websites. I finished my masters in business analytics. I am applying for jobs as a data analyst, data engineer, business analyst, using job analyst ATS optimize, but not getting any calls. Modify my CV too. For each job application, I am only getting calls from agencies currently. Is student visa in student visa due to PSW in May? Please guide me. Hmm. Right. So you can try to modify your CV, and most of the time, yes, these agencies they reach out to you and they keep your CV. If they find your CV helpful, they can forward it. But you also need to keep in mind when these agencies reach out to you and when they talk to you, they try to assess your communication skills there. And if you do not uh, talk to them properly, if you are not able to introduce yourself, if you are not able to tell them your background properly, then they may not forward your CV to any of the potential employers. So that is something which is very important you need to keep in mind. And when applying for jobs, I think on LinkedIn or any other platform, there are a lot of agencies, and you won't know that while applying whether this is an agency or not. Some of the agencies they do write that we are partnering with so and so client, so that way you will be able to know, okay, this is an agency. But I would say still apply for that role, uh, because there is no harm in applying for that role. uh, but then if you don't want to apply to agency, that's totally fine. You can read the description and there you will be able to know whether it's the company which is hiring or it's the agencies posting that job opening for some other company. So yeah, maybe you can try changing your CV. And also it's important that you apply for enough number of jobs. In a lot of videos and a lot of channels you'll be able to see that people say that you need to write a CV according to the job opening. You can try to do that if that works. For me it did not, so I created two or three different type of CVs. One was a generic one where I had a mixed project, and then there were other CVs where I had very specific projects for specific domains. And then if I used to find a company for which I have done projects, I used to apply to that company with that CV. And for some company where I haven't done a project in their domain, I used to apply with the generic one. So that's how I used to do, and it worked well for me. So yeah, maybe you can try that, and hopefully that will work for you. And if I have missed any of your questions, please post it again. I will take that. I sincerely apologize for that spam. I blocked that guy, so or maybe a bot. I don't know what it was. So hopefully we won't get that again. So if I missed your question, please post it again. Question: how can we find internship with the help of professors in the uni? Well, this direct or the simple answer is just ask them if there are any internships, or if they can refer you for something, or if they are doing any research work, or if their colleagues are doing some research work, and if you can join them in that research. So the simple answer is just ask them, and usually they do let you know, they do help you to find something. And the other thing is, maybe you can try to find some uh, hackathons and stuff within the university if they are conducting, because in Newcastle University they used to do these coding challenges every week, uh, which was not really helpful to find an internship. But then if you participate in those coding challenges, and if you do really well, then hopefully you'll be able to attract some, or you will be able to catch some eyes, and probably from there you'll be able to find some internship. So try to look for these kind of events, or maybe you can also try to join some computer science, data science related groups, or society or club, whatever they call it in your university. So try to join those clubs, and maybe you can participate in some of the activities, and from there also you'll be able to find something. Should I learn full TensorFlow for interview? There are a lot of companies, they do all their deep learning stuff using TensorFlow, and if you're applying for those companies, yes, it's important that you understand ins and outs of TensorFlow. So, and even if you are not applying for those companies, knowing good amount of TensorFlow, or knowing TensorFlow in detail, is always helpful. So if you are able to carry out a full project from start to finish using TensorFlow, I think you're fine for majority of the cases. But if you have time, if you want to learn something, then I think yes, you can go in bit more detail related to TensorFlow. Roshan, I wanted to do some data related projects and add it to my resume. Can you suggest some projects which will cover most of the tools? Mostly data. If you do a end-to-end data science project, right from data collection, data cleaning, data preparation, uh, feature selection, um, model building, and then finally deploying it on the web. If you do all those things, I think you should be able to cover everything. It will include your data analysis as well, because you will be doing EDA. So yeah, I think that should cover. But if you are asking for very specific project, like what you can do, it depends on which domain you want to pick. If you want a generic one, then maybe you can take any predictive modeling project. So for example, you want to do a text classification, so you have a bunch of emails, and you're working, example, you're working for company ABC, and you receive emails from your customers, and you want to differentiate those emails into different groups. So for example, if emails are related to issues, you want to put it in issues uh, tag. If you receive inquiry email, then put it in inquiry, something like that. So you may be able to find those textual data on Kaggle, and maybe you can build your own text classification model. And at the end, you should also deploy it on the web, because it's very important these days. And if you are able to deploy it using Streamlit and share that link in your resume, that is going to be really very impactful. Because if a recruiter is able to interact with the tool that you have made, I think it will give them an assurance that you are capable enough to develop a full-fledged application, and you should be able to carry out the whole project from start till end. So do something like that. If you don't want to work on textual data, you can do on image classification, or if you just want to work on tabular data, you can do that as well. So there are a lot of different type of data sets that you can find on Kaggle, and using that you should be able to do a really good project. I have offer from etc. Sheffield and QMUL. At the moment, for MSc Data Science, which university is, in your opinion, is better for TS among these three? Well, all these three universities are really good. I think Exeter has a really good course content, and same can be said for QMUL. So in terms of course content, I think they both are really good. I still need to look into Sheffield. I don't remember exactly uh, how it was. Yeah, I need to probably look into it. I'll just try to find the paper on which I had written everything. So if I can find something there, I will let you know. Well, no, I can't really find it, but yeah, in my opinion, in terms of course content, Exeter and QMUL, they both are really good. But if you go to Exeter, you should be able to save some money in terms of living expense. So if I had to pick one among these three, I would probably go for Exeter, and close second will be QMUL, and then Sheffield. In Power BI, what are the concepts recruiters look? So there are few things like data modeling. So there is a star schema, which is very important. They may ask you about star schema. They can also ask you to write some DAX query. They can ask you about data transformation. They can ask you about different data sources that you can use. So yeah, these are some of the very important aspects of Power BI. And then performance is also something which they look for. So they can ask you how will you measure a performance of a visual, and if you're able to find some issues, how will you resolve it. So they can give you a case study that you need to do. So those are the kind of things they may ask you in Power BI. I have talked to some professors, but they say talk to us about internship or projects in summer. Do you have any idea what they say that? Why they say that? Sorry, why they say that? Or do companies give them projects or something like that? So what happens is during summertime, lot of students, they start their dissertation, and that's when a lot of companies reach out, or a lot of universities reach out to companies, and a lot of companies reach out to university to maybe exchange some projects or some sort of collaboration. And that's where they receive quite a lot of interesting projects from companies, and sometimes they can even receive some internships. So that's why they say reach out to us in summer, and maybe you'll be able to find something that time. Also, how can we do a customer segmentation project with the help of predictive analytics? Customer segmentation, it depends on the nature of the data. So if you have a demographic data, then you can probably segment using different factors like age, profession, what they are buying, what they are looking on the web. Again, it's just an example, it can be for different industry. So it depends a lot on the kind of data and whatever features you have in your data set. Hey Ashutosh, I'm doing good. How are you? Can you post that paper? Which paper? I talked to some students from Sheffield, and they said that their DS course is rather basic and not heavy on any machine learning and deep learning. Um, It is true for majority of the universities, I would say. Why it is true? Well, it is true and false both. So why it is true is because a lot of professors, whatever they will teach you is going to be really basic, but then the material that they provide you, it is going to be very detailed. So if you go through the material, you'll be able to learn a lot more about machine learning and deep learning in detail. But then if you just go through those lectures, you will be able to understand the basics of machine learning and deep learning. So what they do is they just give you a foundation, and once your foundation is built, you can learn other things. So they have designed the course in a way that people from different background can complete the course, and they are, after completing the course, they will be in a position where they can build on top of what they have learned in their master's course. So yeah, it is true for most of the universities, but then it's also false. So it depends which type of student you're talking to. If it's a student who just watches all the lecture videos, it is going to be really basic. But then if you are also talking to someone who goes through the material, they will say that uh, the content is pretty much detailed. Can you also give more insights of day-to-day activity in Newcastle for data science? In first semester, well, it feels like it's been so many years. Well, it's been more than 2 years now. More than 2 years? No, more than 1 year. So yeah, they start with the data visualization module and statistical module. So data visualization will be in Power BI, and you will have classes, you will have labs. Labs are usually for 3 hours, but you don't necessarily need to sit in the lab for 3 hours. If you are done um, with your course, or if you are done with the target that you have set for that day, or whatever task has been assigned to you, if you have completed all those things, you can always leave early. You don't need to sit until the end of the lab. Lectures, first semester is pretty light, I would say. You don't spend your whole day in university. I think you will hardly spend half day in university. Rest of the time you can do your project work, you can do whatever you want. Second semester becomes a little more hectic because you will have classes on every day. Oh yeah, in first semester you don't have classes every day. If they have changed something, I don't know, but that's how it was for me. And in second semester you will have classes for every day. Well, if not every day, there may be 4 days. And you will have labs, you will have longer lectures, and you will have some heavy modules like big data, deep learning, things like that. And in second semester you will also have data science in the wild, where you will be working on some of the use cases from some of the companies, and you will also be working in a group, and then you will also work on a group project which will be more technical. So yeah, after you finish all those things, then you will jump into your dissertation, and that will last for 3 to 4 months. So again, like I said earlier, if you know data science a bit, or if you're just comfortable with programming, it won't be too hectic for you to manage the whole course. Do you think very good at something is always better than knowing everything? I don't think it works all the time, because if you think from, let's say, interview perspective, right? If you are really good at, again, let's take TensorFlow. If you are so good at TensorFlow that you can just answer any kind of question, or you can do anything with TensorFlow, you may be able to apply it to some of the companies, and most likely you'll be able to clear that interview. But then that won't apply to all the companies, because there are a lot of companies, they use PyTorch and they don't use TensorFlow at all. So for those companies, you being really good at TensorFlow is of no use, because they don't use it at all. But then if you know how to carry out the project in TensorFlow, and then you also know how to carry out the project in PyTorch, then you will be able to answer questions from both the sides, but maybe you won't be able to answer in depth. So Sometimes companies are ready to make that sacrifice, or ready to make that compromise, that okay, fine, this guy may not understand TensorFlow in depth, but then at least he can carry out the whole project in TensorFlow, which is good enough for us. But then there will be some companies, they will be like, no, no, we want a person who knows everything. So there will always be trade-off. You can't always say that knowing everything in depth is always better than knowing everything, because if you know everything, everything, and but not perfectly, you should be able to research, and you should be able to do it. But if you don't know something at all, but and if you know something really really well, then you may not be able to think in a different way, or think from a different perspective. So again, in some cases, things knowing everything is good, but in other cases, knowing one thing really well is good. It's a really tough question, but there will always be trade-offs, and you need to decide which one you want to work for. And that's why I suggest, don't just learn something um, to just get the things done. Learn it to extent where you are comfortable that okay, if there will be some issue, I'll be able to resolve it, and I know exactly how this thing works. But if you ask me to write the same thing from scratch, I won't be able to do it, which you don't need to know, because if you start to reinvent the wheel again, then what's the point of having those tools in the market? So yeah, you need to stop at certain point, because when I was in my bachelor's, I had this mindset that if I learn something, I need to learn it to the perfection, and then I used to get into too much depth, where at some point I just used to feel like it's a diminishing return, and I felt like it was just waste of time. So I learned the hard way. I then started learning things, and then I used to stop at certain extent where I feel like okay, I know things uh, properly, and I am quite comfortable, and I will be able to answer a lot of questions. If we think from interview perspective, I'll be able to answer a lot of interview questions. So this is good enough for me. But in future, if I need to learn this thing in depth, I will be able to learn it. So that's how I changed my learning strategy. But whatever works for you, you need to decide it on your own. But I hope that helps. Which is the best methodology to do a customer segmentation project based on demographic? Like, will k-mean clustering work? Yeah, k-mean clustering should be fine. You can use k-medoid, you can use dbscan. Hierarchical clustering, I always struggle to say this word, hierarchy. Hier- I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna just make fun of myself. But you understood, right? That's another clustering algorithm. You can use that, or maybe you can, just do. You may not need to go into those clustering algorithms if your data is really simple. You can differentiate using simple EDA, because if you do some charts and plots, you will be able to see certain groups quite easily. You can use PCA for that, or you can use tsne, T-SNE. So you can use that. So there are a lot of techniques, and while you are learning, I think it's important that you explore everything, and then you see which one works the best. What is the time period in between which a student can do an internship in this 1 year master's program in data science? Usually, for how many months is it? I did my internship during my dissertation, and the internship that I did, I just took that project as my dissertation. So it lasted for around 6 months. The internship lasted for 6 months because I started it right after my first semester. But then the dissertation was just for 3 to 4 months, I think. Yeah. So I think it's better to start looking for internship when you finish your first semester, and I think this is a really good time to start looking for internship. And if your internship is complex enough but maybe not too complex, you can take that project as your dissertation, so uh, you'll be able to do both the things by just one project. I don't have any work experience as of now. I am pursuing a diploma in data science from IIT Madras, and I really want to pursue master's degree in data science. Hence, I applied and have a few offer as well. Would you recommend coming to the UK without any work experience? If I do, is it still possible to build the skills to get a job over there? Yes, lot of freshers, they have been able to find a job, so it is possible, but it will be really hard being a fresher, because when you have some experience, it becomes relatively easy to find a job. So if possible, I would say maybe try to find a job in India, try to gain some experience, and then come for masters. But if you really want to do masters now, you can do it, and it is possible to find a job, but it will take time, patience, and good amount of effort. Can we work in outside IR35 contract jobs during PSW? Answer is yes. Is it going to help to get sponsorship after PSW? Depends on company. If they want to make that as a full-time role, and if the company uh, is eligible to provide sponsorship, then yes, it is possible to get a sponsorship, and you will also gain some experience while working on the contract, so that will help you in finding a job, uh, maybe after the contract ends, or maybe when your PSW is about to end. Or is it better with job with good company that will be converted easy to get sponsorship? Again, that is another option. If you are able to find a job from the get-go in a company which is ready to sponsor you, that would be much more reassuring and safe, so that would be the preferred option. But to start with, you can go with the contract jobs as well. Roshan, how much was your expenses per month back in student days? So the first accommodation that I took, it was £150 per month, and it increased to £180 per month. So that was the rent. As for food, it used to be around 100 to 150 per month. Yeah. So that was around 350 to 400 £400 per month, which was quite cheap if I think back. So yeah, that was my student expense. And then there will be those other expenses which are not monthly expenses, but they can just occur every now and then, like clothing and stuff, or going for some trip or something like that. So those things will always be there. Azure or AWS, which is more appreciated and shout out by UK recruiters? Uh, well, in my company, they use Azure, AWS, and GCP. They use everything depending on what we are doing. But I think in a lot of the companies I've seen, AWS is the most popular choice. So I would say going with AWS is, yeah, going with AWS will be the safe option. You're welcome, Alankar. You're welcome, Anubhuti. 150 a month for accommodation? No, not 150 for accommodation. 150 for food and stuff. Accommodation 250 or 280. Yeah, it was 250, but then it increased to 280 by the end of my contract. So yeah, and it was a bit far from the university. It used to take well, not that far, but it used to take 35 to 40 minutes by walk to the university. Right, we are already over 1 hour now, so last question. I'm confused with AWS Snowflake and Databricks. Do you have any idea on this? I have used Databricks and I'm currently using AWS Snowflake, and I would say my experience with Snowflake has been really good. But if it comes to the whole data science development environment, Databricks is really good. Their notebook section is really good. It makes it really easy for you to code there. The environment is really good. You can set up your own environment if you like. Snowflake is catching up. They are bringing in a lot of features, but it is not yet there. So if I have to pick an environment, I would pick Databricks. But now that you are saying that you want to use AWS and Snowflake, in that case, AWS has a better environment than Databricks, and you can quite easily connect uh, to Snowflake using AWS. So doing all the development in AWS is much more user friendly, and AWS has like 200 plus services. So you can just, if you think of something, you will be able to find those services on AWS. So yeah, my pick would be AWS and Snowflake now, but then it also comes down to what the company is using. If you just want to learn, you can pick any, whichever you prefer, whichever you like, because then the underlying concepts or the fundamentals are going to be same. It's just the UI is going to change and the way they work is going to change a little bit. But then if you are used to using cloud platforms, you should be able to switch between different cloud platforms quite easily. I hope that helps. Was it a private student accommodation or a private apartment? Sorry. So it was a shared accommodation. So there was this big house with 5 rooms, 4 rooms, yeah, something like that. I just rented one room, and then the bathroom, kitchen, uh, and the hall. It was common. Thanks for the live session. I saw it and clicked right away. Yeah, I mean I do it every Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. So feel free to join. It's always good to talk to you guys here. Even I learn few new things here every now and then, and I always try to help as much as I can, and I try to share whatever knowledge I have to the best of my abilities. So yeah, I will see you guys next Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time. Have a great weekend. Happy learning. Bye.